Well, traffic is moving, so this is not New Jersey. Is this a prequel to the 1988 Corey Haim, Corey Feldman vehicle License to Drive? We got heavy credits on the Parkway southbound. Might want to use an alternate route.
I am your permit to drive an automobile.
I am Jack's driving permit.
Your license to use the highway system of the United States. I am only a card in your wallet or purse, yet I unroll before your eyes a magic carpet.
I mean
The
road.
millions of miles of highways and byways that crisscross the nation. I am your round-trip travel ticket, your passport to pleasure.
Call me Dr.
With me,
Feelgood.
you can motor from the Atlantic to the Pacific,
But that's it. Nowhere in between.
from the Gulf to the Great Lakes.
This land was made for you and
can
me.
travel with me as your only identification. I am the only commuter's ticket you need to drive to and from school or work.
There is no
day
life
after
apart
day,
from me.
Year after year. I have become vital to more than 50 million people in this land of ours.
Bunch of suckers. Huh, maybe this is New Jersey.
I am their constant companion. I go with them wherever they go. The farmer on his way at sunup. The bus driver. The truck driver.
The road warrior.
The ambulance driver. The policeman. The cab driver.
Oh, so they used to license
No
cab
matter
drivers,
who
huh?
they are, no matter where they are, I am with them. With me in their possession, the drivers of our millions of rubber-tired vehicles help keep turning the wheels of our national economy, whether they roll over highway or city street.
Wow, what a bustling
For
metropolis.
in the past 25 years, driving has opened the gate of commerce between city and farm, factory and consumer.
Mel Gibson and the Police.
With me in their possession, the daily life of millions has taken on new meaning.
Accept
The
me into
family,
your heart.
The individual has a freedom of movement so new, it did not exist in the youth even of our own parents.
Whee!
For the automobile has brought with it, in less than a lifetime, a new way of life, a new standard of living, a standard of living matched by no other nation in the world.
Suck on that, international community. Pollution is also
Because
great.
of the automobile, new industries have taken their place on our national landscape to add billions to our wealth by providing goods, services, and job opportunities undreamed of only yesterday.
When in village,
Our whole
visit
way of
town
living
drive-in.
has become geared to the automobile. I am your permit, your license, your permission to drive.
A certificate of
I am
sorts.
a privilege and an obligation. Your obligation to drive skillfully, carefully, and legally.
Are you watching, Mr. Letterman? Terror at 6 miles per hour. Suddenly Fritz Lang's directing. This is no time to get arty, movie.
This year, there will again be thousands of innocent victims of those who will not recognize this obligation.
Here comes the guilt
I
trip.
will be among the last papers of tens of thousands who will have no further use for me. And I may be merely a means of identification of almost a million whose injuries may be permanent. A million accident victims whose numbers contain twice as many 15 to 24-year-old drivers as any other.
Why don't they look?
Over and over, I ask myself,
How am I talking?
is it the supposed thoughtlessness of youth that takes such a toll?
Yes, case
Is it
closed.
inexperience that leads to the taking of foolish chances? Is it the failure of adults to teach the young people the right way to drive?
Is it original sin?
Or is it my fault? Have I allowed myself to become taken for granted?
Do I need to
I
get
try
my
to tell
groove back?
people when they write their names across my face that they're signing more than a signature, that they are signing a pledge to be the kind of driver they want others to be.
Okay, Thelma
I try to tell people that as a nation of more than 50 million drivers, we owe to each other the courtesy, the fair play each of us expects.
Or is that too difficult for you to understand? The end? Hello?
As a nation, we set great store by sportsmanship.
Yeah, that's truly
Almost
what we're known
all of us
for.
at some time play the game.
Don't
And no
show
matter
hockey
what
if you're
the
talking
game
about
may
American
be,
sportsmanship.
It has its rules of courtesy and fairness and sportsmanship. Rules that determine the pattern of action of all who play.
Rules
Each
rendered
game
meaningless
has
by
its code of
steroids.
rules, and each set of rules is known and respected by all who play and all who watch. We have come to demand fair play and sportsmanship in all things, great and small.
What does James
It
Harriet have
has
to do with
become
driving?
second nature, for example, for those who play golf, to allow others to play through.
Help! Hey, you, help! Rescue us from this tedious sport!
For the bowler to carefully avoid the almost invisible foul line.
What?
For the runner to stay in his lane. The same rules of sportsmanship apply to driving an
Are
automobile.
you still on that kick?
Unfortunately, there are drivers amongst us who are poor sports. Drivers who can dish it out, but can't take it.
They are communists, the Red Menace. Officer Livingston, I presume. I sentence you to death for not using
They
your
are the
signal.
reckless who cause the accidents that maim and kill. They are the offenders whose invasion of the rights of others may lead to curtailment of their own rights.
If I have my
For
way,
remember, I am your permit to drive, not your right to drive, for you are entitled to drive only as long as you abide by the rules of driving.
yes, anthropomorphic slip of paper.
The rules of driving are fundamentally simple, based on common sense. Common sense safety for yourself and for others.
Of the same race.
When you're walking, for instance, say by yourself, or even with a few other people on a country road, there's room to spare, and walking is no problem.
This film is
But this
uncompromising.
milling throng in the heart of a great city can represent the traffic problem of today.
They must be stopped.
When you look down on it, there's not much difference between a jam of people and a jam of automobiles. But when you look closely at the people, when you get down among them, you'll find there's a vast difference.
Mostly relating to emissions.
As members of a group of civilized human beings, each going about his own individual business, there is a smooth surge of motion, a unity of action, and there's respect for the rights of others.
What planet is
A
this
polite
again?
avoidance of contact, wholehearted cooperation, and courtesy.
I'm not in denial. Who said I'm in denial?
So it can be with the milling throng of automobiles across our land. So it can be with you.
If you get your crap together.
Staying off the white lines. Waiting for the green lights.
Using only Sunoco brand petrol.
Stopping at the stop signs. Slowing down in school zones. Observing the traffic signs. And thinking.
Christopher McDonald.
Thinking while you drive about your driving. Keeping your mind on your driving and your eye on the road.
But what about my Bluetooth, my GPS, and my fillet of fish?
The thinking driver, the alert driver, takes no chances with the lives of himself and others.
Unless they're on the government's
The alert
official
driver
list of
can avoid
expendable
accidents.
peoples.
He can slow down, for instance, in time to protect himself and others. In time to avoid the aggravation of minor damage.
What's the freaking deal over
Damage
here?
that costs money and denies the use of the car. You pay the cost of the driving mistakes of others, and they of yours, in more stringent traffic regulations.
And larger
And
bribes.
higher insurance rates. Perhaps the poor driver never learned the proper way to drive. You have more opportunity than he.
What?
You have the opportunity to learn the right way to drive.
From Billy
The
Joel.
opportunity to avoid the mistakes and habits acquired by others. As a good driver, you will live to enjoy all the fruits of good driving. For I, your permit to drive, and the open sesame to a lifetime of new experience, a lifetime of new beauty.
What if you live in New
I
Jersey?
bring wings to your feet, a freedom of motion you will learn always to cherish.
I have a plan for
I
your
bring
life.
pleasure and responsibility. The responsibility to drive well. I urge you to guard what I stand for I permit you to drive.
Coming up next on indignant government-issued wallet cards, a library card will yell at you for 20 minutes, and later on we'll meet a fishing license who can't stand those punk water skiers.